Hey everybody, my name is Brenden Perry, and we're going to be talking about screencasting in elementary classrooms. So, the objective for this is to educate teachers and fellow students on the educational value and benefit of screencasting in the classroom. We're going to discuss the following topics. Screencasting in the classroom, not limited to elementary or secondary, just in the classroom. Screencasting for parental and at-home use, and the benefits of screencasting in elementary classrooms. So first, screencasting in the classroom. The benefits of screencasting. Screencasting in the classroom can have many benefits, especially in regard to student learning and achievement. Many students need additional opportunities to review a lesson. Screencasting allows teachers to record themselves while recording instructions in digital resources. And then screencasting also engages students in technology and allows them to learn how to follow directions via online streaming. So right there on the second part where it says that many students need additional opportunities to review a lesson. Not all students will gain the educational needs and the information, the material in regular class time. They just don't thrive with large groups of students. They need to be contained in a smaller environment, which a screencast allows because it's more of a one-on-one experience. This video here is about two educators who are learning about screencasting, and they not only find out about the benefits for students, but also the benefits for them as professionals and how they can use that for their colleagues. It's a very good video. So this is the first article that I read, and I think the screen might be cutting a little bit of it off, but the title is Use of Screencasting for Delivering Lectures and Providing Feedback in Educational Context by Farit Kilisakaya. So I'm going to read this passage, and it's an excerpt from the book, from the article, I'm sorry. And then I will go back and break it down a little bit. So teachers not only deliver materials to learners, but also guide learners in their learning experiences. While doing this, teachers allow learners to notice the progress they have been making and motivate them to further improve their skills. Teachers also benefit from the tools technology provides to them, such as screencasting. A screencast is a digital recording of the computer screen output, including audio narration, which was first implemented in order to show learners how to use computer software through demonstrations. Since then, it has also been used in educational contexts. An example, to deliver lectures and to provide feedback. So, the first thing I want to point out about this is that teachers not only deliver materials to learners, but also guide learners in their learning experiences. So, a screencast can really help a struggling student, and even students that may want a little additional help, because it gives them that one-on-one where they can go back and they can play it as much as they need to until they understand the concept or the standard that you're trying to teach, and so that they can get that objective. And then the bottom part, that screencasts have been used to deliver lectures, which we've been seeing Ms. Weathers do, and then also to provide feedback. So, we were supposed to create an activity, which, since I'm doing screencasting and we're all having to create a screencast, it was kind of hard to come up with an activity, but what I've done is create a screencast using Screenomatic and critique an elementary paper as if it was your own student. So we're going to get out of this presentation for just a moment. And look at this writing sample. Right here where you see the Titanic. This is supposedly a sample of a second grade writing. And so apparently he was supposed to write a paper on, or a paragraph on the Titanic. So let's look at it. Let's say the student's name is Dominique. So you would be able to individually critique this paragraph And so he and his parent will be able to sit down and really watch this and understand why Dominique received the grade that he did. So let's look at it. It is April 10th, 1912, 2 years before my great-grandma was born. The Titanic is going to travel all the way from England to America. Newspapers call the Titanic the Wonder Ship. The Titanic had restaurants, a post office, even a gym with a toy camel ride. The Titanic has another nickname, the Rich Man's Special. Okay, so we're going to stop there. There's enough to critique right there. So Dominique, let's look at this first sentence right here, where it says, it is April 10th, 1912. Now, normal when we write a date, we'll do April 10, and then we put a comma, 1912. And so it would read, it is April 10th, 1912. We normally don't put the TH associated with that. Let's continue in the paragraph. 2 years before my grandma was born, the Titanic is going to travel all the way from England to America. So right there it says the Titanic is going to travel. Is indicates that something is going to do something. But we know the Titanic happened way long time ago, back in 1912. So it would be better rephrased, the Titanic was going to travel all the way from England to America. So there's an example of how we could critique a paper, and when we get our own students, we will be able to know them and know how they accept critique. And but this would just be a great additional tool. Okay, let's get back to the presentation. So screencasting for parental benefit. And this right here I put up there because I know when I was in school, even my parents needed a refresher because it's been so many years since they've been taught the information that their students are learning. So oftentimes my teacher would teach one thing, my parents would teach another, and then I would go back to school more confused than I started. So with the screencast, your student and the parent can sit down and learn the correct method of teaching and the way that parent can understand and help the student in the best way that they can. And that creates a cohesive learning process between the child, the parent, and you, the teacher. And then this is a video for teachers to check out this awesome video on how screencasting can help your parents and connect with them. And so she's just got a few points. One is to introduce yourself, because you're going to have PTSO meetings and you're going to have open houses that not all parents will be able to attend. So you could use a screencast to connect yourself with them and introduce yourself. And then also explain upcoming projects, because we know that when flyers go home or the student relays the message, it becomes a he said, she said. And when you do a screencast, that information comes directly from you, directly from the horse's mouth, as they say. And then also to demonstrate information. So say that your school uses iNow or Chalkable, and the parents need to know how to find their student profile. Well, with the screencast, you can go in and show them exactly what link, what to log in, how to find their grades, the attendance profile, and all of that additional information. Okay. So best practices for using screencasting in the elementary classroom. We can use screencasts in the elementary classroom by digital storytelling, which is a huge thing right now. Homework help and frequently asked questions, which is awesome for screencasting. In class engagement, I know I saw this a lot in my kindergarten practicum. The teacher would be able to use the iPad and cast what she was teaching on the board while she walked around and did a little classroom management, so that she didn't have to stand at the board the whole time and yell at the back for the student that didn't want to behave. And then also technology. It's so important for these students not to only see the technology being used, but how to use it. This is the second article that I found, and it is Screencasting to Support Effective Teaching Practices. And I see a typo right there. So on the left-hand side, you can see that this came from the article, and it's figure 1 and 2. And Miss Lester took a photo of her students' work, 2 students, and she cast it onto the board while she left the iPad with them so that they could justify why they did what they did. And so you can see it's 1 plus 4 equals 5 on top, and the Bailey on bottom with the red bricks did 4 plus 1 equals 5. And so both students had the same answer, but she wanted them to justify why they did what they did. So to wrap this video up, I'm running out of time, and I had a lot more to say, but I just wanted to do this. That way I didn't run out of time. So please use screencasting in your classroom. I think it'll be so beneficial for you, for your parents, for your students, because there's, for so many years, been a disconnect between the parent and the student and then you in the classroom, because a lot of times they may see you in the car line in the morning, the car lines in the evenings, but they don't know anything else except what their child says. So if you have a domain, a blog, something where you can post that screencast and they get that information directly, there's no excuse for your children not to succeed unless there is an extenuating circumstance. But screencasting would just be so beneficial, so I'd advise that we all use it in our upcoming classrooms. Thank you so much.